Yo, hello everyone, it's Aimer here. So today's video is gonna be a rapid fire for the new balance patch, or well, the hotfix for the first Descendant. I'm not gonna go like into all of the specific skill power modifiers that we will see on the graphs, but yeah. So let's get right into the video. So the first Descendant that was showing here was Lepic. Lepic received a buff to his first skill, um, for skill power modifier, a buff of cooldown on his fourth skill, which is the cannonball that he does. How are you gonna call it? It is a lower cooldown now. For Jaber, I don't think Jaber matters. I think Jaber is really bad, and no matter how much they increase his damage, the problem with Jaber is that he just doesn't play good enough compared to any other descendant. So I don't think changing just his skill power modifiers is gonna make him better. They need to actually rework Jaber, but that's just my take. Now for Blair, what they're doing with Blair is obviously another buff because, as we know, Ultimate Blair is coming in 2 weeks, and as you can see here, burn damage is his damage over time, double percentage, good buff. This will put him, even though the percentage is lower than Balbis and Freyna, the thing with Blair is that he can critically hit. So that probably makes up for the lack of skill power modifier because he actually critical hits with it. So yeah. Now the one other notable buff to Blair is Truly Deadly Cuisine, which is his module that changes his force skill. As you can see here, it's a 12,000 skill power modifier. Obviously not 12,000 in game once the math is done, converted. But if you're able to stack a lot of crit rate before shooting this, and this actually critical hits, you're probably able to do some insane damage to Colossus now. Maybe, I don't know. Someone will have to test it. But this is the most important damage for, buff for Blair. Now, Luna, I actually tested Luna in a public run and in a private run, a solo run, once the patch was implemented in my game, and I can tell you that she's way stronger um than Bonnie. Honestly, she's way stronger than Karen. Uh, but the thing is that she's slow, so that's the problem with Luna, and also her damage doesn't ramp up until you have all the stacks of your skills, because Noise Surge is her damage module, her mobbing module. So yeah, she's really strong right now. In my solo run, I was hitting my enhanced notes for like 800,000 damage, and the base was like 600,000 damage. In my public run, I was hitting a normal notes for like 500,000 and something damage, and my enhanced notes were like 600,000 damage. And mind you, I ran a mission that didn't have like a modifier for non-attribute. It had a toxic attribute, so she's really strong right now. Really good mobber, but the problem, like I said, she's slow. And one thing that I would like them to change is that her unique weapon can inherit the weapon cores that you have on your weapon, so that you can put a sprint speed on any weapon and just be faster, because that's what's holding Luna back from honestly being like Nest plus mover, because she's just slow, and it's actually takes you to play the game instead of just standing still and killing everything, right? So that's what's holding Luna back. But honestly, really good was for Luna. You should check out my video for the PS Luna build. Nothing has changed. It's still the same video. So yeah. CMO, I'm gonna skip a CMO. I don't play a CMO. I think honestly his biggest buff was that he got this one, Arc Explosion. As you can see here, explosion damage has been uh doubled. So he actually has a higher modifier than Blair. Sorry, I said no one in the game had modifier as high as Blair, but SCMO does. But I still think that you shouldn't build a CMO unless you have like the resources, or like you already built him. So yeah. Enzo, honestly, the most important buff for Enzo is this, because this is the buff that he applies to his teammates. As you can see, they removed 1-0 from the percentage, so he will now give more firearm attack increase. However, the cooldown has gone up, but with a good build, to be able to pretty much virtually remove these 2 seconds cooldown from the duration. Oh wait, sorry, no, it's a duration increase. I read that wrong. So yeah, so it increased 2 seconds, the buff duration, and the firearm attack increase has, as you can see, it removed 1-0 from the math, and it's also so above, so it's gonna give way more a firearm attack increase to your teammates. And well, explosive drum is his second skill, the one where he throws his drones and explodes. I don't think that's gonna be like useful or anything. No one's gonna do a explosive drone build for Enzo, but if someone wants to do it, go ahead. But yeah, so rapid fire patch notes for Ines nerf, because this is the nerf that some people wanted and other people didn't want. Chain lightning. Chain lightning is her first skill. Cooldown increased, base damage reduced, additional damage to enemies infected with conductor reduced, which conductor is her debuff that she applies. So everything nerfed. Lightning conductor is her second skill. Cooldown increased, MP cost reduced, base damage increased, additional enemies with conductor increased, and number of targets increased. So this is actually a really nice buff for lightning conductor, but um the 10-second cooldown, I don't know why they did that. It's gonna feel a little bit like slower, to be honest, but really good buff for the second skill, but honestly don't think it's enough. Snare Hunter, fourth skill. Stack cooldown increased by 60 seconds. This is a lot of seconds. Like, I know you will have cooldown and everything in your modules and everything, but still 60 seconds per stack is actually kind of crazy. It is actually really slow. Projectile damage reduced, continuous damage reduced, current coast damage reduced, continuous damage interval increase. So this means that the lightning damage that you do, your electric damage is gonna be slower, 0.2 seconds slower, and enemies infected with conductor damage reduce. Now, Time of the Hunting Hounds is her module that allows her to do floating lightning, which is her lightning like ball. So cooldown increase, stack cooldown increase by 5 seconds. So you will get your balls slower pretty much. Your base damage reduced, and your additional damage to enemies with conductor reduced. So honestly, on paper, this feels like really, I guess, myth cooldown. I mean, myth nerf to Ines, right? Like they didn't make her useless, and it wasn't like super light, right? It's like a middle ground between those extremes. The thing is, I say on paper because you still have to factor in your modules, your build, your art tuning. So I would say that right now, instead of her being like an S plus 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 character, she's now on Freyna's level. So I don't really know. I haven't been playing Ines lately, so I don't know how she will play. So someone will have to do the testing because it is not looking super bad, but it's also not light enough. Killan, honestly, I don't play Killan either, but really insane uh, modifiers for him. Again, this will probably make Killan like way better. I think the only problem with Killan is that, at least for me, uh, his explosion range is not like as much. So even if you have like more damage, you will still be missing like some enemies just because of the range rather than because of the damage. I think that's what I think. I'm not really sure, but yeah, Killian insane buff. Ajax, Ajax also got like a buff for all his literally modules and for all his skills. I don't play Ajax. I'm sorry, but again, the problem with Ajax is that the same as Jaber, the same as Luna, is that while his rates are not bad and he can do like good damage, the problem is that he's not necessarily built for fast moving. So before you are able to actually hit enemies, everyone is gonna be dead because everyone's gonna be like using, Freyna, Ines, Serena, Biesa. So you're gonna be like slower, but again, really nice power modifiers buffs. Now Kyle, I don't play Kyle. I think Kyle's a meme. He plays terrible, and I hate Kyle to be honest. He's really boring to play, so I'm not gonna even tell you what it is. But for Conductic Thrusters is his first skill, and it got an insane multiplier buff. So if you want to try to one shot Colossus again with him, you can now go and do it. Try and go do it again because, like I said, it's a really, really, really huge buff here. For Bunny, some people might be shocked to see that she got a buff, but don't worry, it's not necessarily a buff because Thrill Bomb is her first skill, and no one uses that. Maximum power is her like lightning beam, right? Like that electric beam that she does is maximum power. So while they did get buffed, no one uses those skills. So yeah, they buff her, but skills that no one uses. You know what I mean? So unless you want to do a maximum power build right now to try and test it out, but honestly, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna waste my materials on trying this. So yeah. Now the one change that the two changes that actually look promising for Bunny is Electric Condense is her module that changes her force skill into that like charge explosion thing that she does. The base damage modifier has been increased by a lot, so now it will actually do damage because with this modifier, it honestly just tickled enemies. So maybe this will actually make her do damage. And the other one is Electric Charge. Electric Charge is that module that changes her jump to do more damage. So they buff that, right? So as you can see here, charge max damage on double jump, 969.5%. So now maybe you can actually just jump around like a real bunny. Will jump around and do this part like this damage, right? Good change for bunny. Honestly, no one uses Thrill Bomb. Another change for Thrill Bomb. No one uses that. Triple skills. But yeah, this will be funny to try and see if this actually makes electric charge more viable and electric condense too. For the Glay, the problem that for Glay is that I tried this explosive life module and I will tell you why. So they changed Thirst. Thirst is her passive where she spawns life spheres of defeated enemies. What does this mean? They change it so that now your allies, when they kill an enemy, they also have the chance to spawn these life spheres because previously only Glay was able to spawn this. So now your allies can spawn them, but the problem is here. Added a limit of 10 to the number of life spheres that can be generated. So the issue with this is that the life spheres have a 40% chance of spawning per enemy, right? And you only have a maximum amount of 10 at a time. So explosive life. Explosive life is her module that makes her able to explode these life spheres and do area damage. As you can see here, it says damage during frenzy increased from 600% to 1600%. We have to realize that as Glay, we're always on frenzy, right? So the actual value that we're gonna be getting always is this. And honestly, it's a really good buff because it actually does a lot of damage. Like I did a private run with her, and I was hitting for like 1.4 million with a level 2 reactor. So she actually does like insane damage now. But the problem with it is this: the 10 life spheres limit, because you also have a chance of 40% to spawn them. So while she does a lot of damage now, not only you need RNG for the life spheres to spawn, but you also at the start of the dungeon or whatever you're doing, you need to kill enemies with your weapons to be able to spawn those life spheres. So while while explosive life is really powerful now, the problem is that um it kind of feels clunky to play because of the limit. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I felt um play. I did a 400% dungeon run. The one that is active right now, I forgot what it is. It's the one that is like in Fortress. And it took me like 6 minutes to do it by just using explosive life because of the RNG. Can it be faster? Yeah, of course it can be faster if you have like better luck and keep spawning the life spheres, but that's the problem. That is the problem. The 10 limit is what's holding explosive life back. And for content improvements, the most notable one is this: fix it. Ines changed lighting and floating lighting to no longer attack targets that are blocked by terrain. So this means that no longer being able to attack enemies behind cover, behind walls, that is over. And this is interesting too. Chain lighting and floating lighting are removed if they hit terrain. So let's say that you shoot someone, um, like an enemy with your lightning bolt, right? And then you go behind a wall. As far as this can be interpreted, it will your ball will disappear. So it's actually make her gameplay different now. And well, this is an issue where the electric condense, which is Bunny's core skill module change. Now they fixed it to show in the tooltip, but yeah, Ines pretty much got really like they didn't hold back on her nerf, which some might agree that it's good, some might agree that it's terrible. I'll leave you guys on your own opinions. But yeah, honestly, I don't really like playing Ines. I like using other Descendants, but it's really fun to play too. So yeah, but yeah, like they didn't hold back with her nerf. Now for the last I guess piece of news that we got is a new login event, 14 days, similar to the one that we had with Serena, but this will give some different rewards. And at the 14-day login, they will give you a ultimate transfer uh, item, so that if you did your event that's currently there now, you will have one, so you will have two in 14 days, right before Ultimate Bear comes out. Then we have a director's note. I'm gonna read it. You don't have to. And it's the director of the first Descendant, Min Seok Ju. And it says, the balance between descendants has been an important topic of discussion in the community. Recently, successive releases of new overpowered descendants such as Ines and Serena have caused some content being cleared way more easily than intended. We're taking this trend seriously, and this rebalance is our first step towards addressing the problem. Now, I know some people say that they hate nerfs and that nerfs shouldn't happen in a PvE game, but I also want you to keep your opinion open, because when the devs spend months doing content and then it gets like killed in 2 seconds, I don't think it's necessarily good for the long term health of the game. Like, yeah, sure, it might be like really fun to do the first week, the first 2 weeks, but if you realize you're not gonna have any type of content until Ultimate Blur comes out, and who knows what they're gonna add when he comes out, which is in 2 weeks. So we're gonna do 1 month of killing Tormentor in 3 seconds, right? Killing Void Erosion Purge in 2 minutes. So it's just so you have like open to that idea that sometimes releasing like really powerful characters is not the best in the long term, but it is really fun to do in the short term. So let's continue. This rebalance focus on strengthening relatively underperforming descendants, using as basis the performance of Biesa, Balbi, and Haley, which they have previously mentioned, who are the current baseline. However, we recognize some descendants simply tweaking some numbers are not enough to bring out the best in them. We believe that the mechanics of certain skills may need to be reworked to achieve more meaningful performance improvements, but we had to adjust multiple descendants simultaneously, and we apologize for focusing on numerical balancing this time. We understand that you may find some changes inadequate because of that, but we'll continue to review and implement improvements to skill, structure, and design. So they should just say, yeah, we know Jaber sucks and we're gonna rework him instead of writing that. But it's pretty much what they mean. Is that the baseline is Haley, Biesa, Balbi, which they are really powerful on their respective terms and different on what they do. And that they understand that some descendants need rework because it doesn't matter if they make like if they make them like really powerful, they just won't be used because they play really bad, pretty much. Sorry for that. Now this says, conversely, we determined that some descendants whose performance significantly exceed the baseline and could impact content structure needed adjustments. Ines is a prime example of this, and her performance is slightly above the baseline. So we made some adjustments in this patch. Freina's performance is also above the baseline, but not so much that it breaks the flow of the content. So we put adjustments on hold. Serena is a firearm-based dealer who we believe is currently significantly exceeding the baseline, but since she hasn't been released for long, we would like to see more data before deciding on how to respond. So what this line says is that Ines, obviously as we know, was on a tier of her own. Ines was S++++, and while Freina is also strong on moving content, she lacks the ability to do the current Colossus. I mean, all of the Void Colossus, she was not able to do them like really nice. So that's why they pause Freina's nerfs, and they will monitor more Serena data. But we know it's because she's been out for like 2 weeks, something like that, 2 or 3 weeks, and a lot of people would like actually quit the game if they nerf her today because of that, right? So smart on them to not adjust her right now, but I wouldn't doubt that they won't nerf her like in the future. They probably will nerf her. So just be expecting a Serena nerf in the future, maybe. I doubt they're gonna leave her like this. Now it says, we don't believe we can balance all the descendants perfectly with this single patch. We'll continue to closely analyze post-patch data and make further adjustments to descendants that fall short of the baseline or are overperforming based on community feedback. We'll also fine-tune Serena's performance along the way. So yeah, so they're kind of like saying it's gonna get changed at some point. We're also keenly aware that we've been releasing new descendants in an overpowered state. While the dev team does hope for the new descendants to be in the spotlight, we don't want them to be released overpowered to the point of breaking down the content structure. We're looking internally at the reasons for this recurring issue, and we're working to improve our development process so that we can deliver more stable and balanced content in the future. I think the problem here is that, yeah, sure, they like make them strong that what they should be, but I think the problem is that since the devs don't use all of the power of a descendant, they also cannot test correctly their own creations, right? Because if you've been playing like this game and you're like invested in the community and everything, you will know of like people like content creators like Cenebates or Bash Kawaii or Neri Biscuit, which they make builds. Well, Bash and Neri, Bash is now gone, but they made uh, builds according to math, right? So that is the main problem with this, because the players can actually use the full power of a Descendant while the devs can't. So maybe that's why the devs think like, oh, this Descendant is fine to be launched like this, because if we the devs cannot kill Tormentor in 40 seconds, then no one will be able to. But that's not the case. I think that's what is happening. I'm not really sure. So let's continue. We're deeply grateful to all the players for the continued hurtful feedback on the first Descendant. We consider this rebalance a step towards further refining the balance, and will continue to make adjustments and improvements based on play data, and do our best to provide a better gaming experience. Additionally, in response to the community feedback, we are currently working on improving Tarina's wings so that they are no longer visible when she equips a common skin. The things The wings will only be displayed when she uses her skills, and this change will be implemented in April 17 patch, uh, Ultimate Players patch. So basically, they are gonna hide Serena's wings on skins like um, the office, the office skin. They're gonna hide the wings. I don't know if this is something people ask for, but they're gonna do it. Yeah, so kind of weird, but I don't really care about that. But yeah, so this is all for the hotfix that was implemented today. I know the video is long, and I hope you guys stayed for the end and try to like generate respectful discussion in the comments if you want. So tell me your opinions. If you think this patch is good, if you think Ines nerf is too strong, if you're gonna take a break until season 3, how you feeling about the game in general, right? So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next time. Peace.